Hi everyone, welcome back in our series on how to make a Fortnite montage using Shotcut. In this episode we're going to look at how to add titles. In our first few episodes we learned how to put clips together, so now we're on to titles. To add a title, open Other and select Text. Here we're going to type in the first part of a series of text boxes for our title. So I'm not going to use the font size because then I can use the box size to dictate how big the font is. So I'm going to reposition this text box by using the grid. So if I snap to grid 16 by 16, I can say this is where I want the text to be and then adjust the box size so that it doesn't cover the whole clip. Now I can change the font here, make it italic, and I can now drag this down into the timeline. Okay, now what I can do is I can position the actual title where I want it to start, which is about 6 seconds. So I'm just going to move this box and I want it to last about 3 seconds. So I'm going to go to the 9-second mark here and just adjust the size. There you can see the title overlaid the clip. What I want to do is make this a kind of title that kind of zooms in to my clip. So I'm going to add a filter, size, position and rotate. And I'm going to make this zoom by using keyframes. So select the keyframes parameter, increase the size of the title to 200%. Okay, it's still in the clip. I'll try a bit more. Okay, 250, maybe I'll just go with 300. And then about a second into the clip, so I'll select the 7-second mark. I want the title to be its normal size, so I'm just going to reset that. And what this now does is create this effect that you'll see if I press play. Okay, great. There you see the title kind of, sort of pans in from being outside the clip at the beginning. So what I'm going to do now is copy and paste the title clip here. So I don't need the size, position, rotate filter. I'm going to remove it. And in the text filter, I can change the text. So the next part of my title sequence is Chapter 3, Season 3. And I'm just going to reduce the length of this clip. I'm going to remove the outline here as well, so I'm just going to adjust the outline thickness to 0, makes it a bit cleaner. And then I'm going to copy and paste again to add the third title in this sequence, and this is going to be Week 3 Highlights. What I want to do now is just sort of introduce a series of transitions. So I'm going to create a bit of space to bring in another type here from Open Other, which is a color, which I want to be transparent. So I'm going to drop that down on the timeline. Might need to move a few things around here to create some space. Okay, as I did that, obviously I removed this, so I'll open it again. I'll drop that down. Okay, still a bit too big, so I'll put it over here, and then I'll just shuffle things around as needed. So what I'm going to do now is show you how I use this transparent color clip to create a transition effect for my titles. So I'm just going to the 9.5 second point to start that. I'm going to bring the second title sequence in here over the transparent color, and that creates this transition box. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments here. So I'm going to bring this down. So I'm just working out where this is going to go exactly in the timeline. So I'm selecting it all, then I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to extend this out a bit, and you'll see how this looks. So we have this transition, it's a dissolve, which introduces the next sequence. I'm going to change that to be a bar horizontal, so it looks like the text is typed. Okay, there you see across the screen, and having the transition all done at the beginning and making the next part a bit longer means that the title stays so you can read it. So we'll do the same with the second sequence as well shortly, but let's just get this first one to be the right length. Okay, that looks good. So let's open another transparent color, and we'll drop this down again into the timeline, and we'll do exactly the same for this final sequence. So move over the transparent clip to create a transition, adjust the length at the front and at the back. To get consistency, we'll move it into its right place. I'm just now looking at the timeline times here to sort of get a sense of how big the transition needs to be. So I think I need to make a small adjustment. Okay, maybe 0.8 of a second or something. And then the length here as well needs to go up a bit. I mean, visually you could look at these and probably not have to worry too much about the timings, but it's nice to be consistent. So that looks okay. So let's see what this looks like together. There's our first title dropping in. There's the second one wiping across. And then there's the third one. And as we left that transition effect as dissolve, it's a little inconsistent. So I'll go and select that and change it to bar horizontal. And it'll give us that wipe effect. Okay, so let's just make another adjustment here. I'd like the second part of the titles to transition into the third part of the titles. So I might want to use a transition effect to do that. So just by joining these two parts of the title clip here, if we just take a look, okay, you can see there was a dissolve there before the next set come up. What I'm going to do now is probably add a few more effects, maybe some fade in and fade out. So let's do a fade out video at the end of this first set so that we see a nice dissolve. And then we'll also add one here, and I'll just do it a different way to show you that you can do this. You can just actually put it directly onto the clip. And what this does is it creates two filters, a fade out video and a fade out audio. But let's look at this end to end. Okay, there was a fade out, and there's something I need to adjust there. There's our transition, and there's another fade out. So this does create a fade out audio here, and I don't really need it, so I'm going to remove it. And then on this other clip here, I don't need the audio. And I need to adjust opacity so it dissolves rather than sort of fades in with black, as you saw. Let's look again. Okay, that's a nice fade out. There's our wipe, there's our transition, and another wipe. And finally a fade out. So that's looking pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with my title sequences. And continuing our tutorial in part 5, we'll be looking at how to add music.